Now let's get some analysis on this, and we're joined by Ahmed Sewehli, Libya analyst. How do you read this call for a ceasefire by Turkey and Russia?
I think they are the two main players on the ground at the moment in Libya. It's very important that they both have met and they have discussed the situation in Libya. Their call for a ceasefire has more weight than previous calls by the European Union, by France, Italy, UK, the US. They're not really on the ground at all. Of course, France was on the ground, but it was on the side of Haftar attacking Tripoli until maybe a few months ago when they removed their officers from Libya. Whether this will work or not is something to be seen. The reason is because Haftar cannot be trusted at all. For the past few years, there have been calls for a ceasefire. Sarraj and Haftar have met in Paris, in Rome, in Abu Dhabi, and yet every time this happens, Haftar will make another attack, and that is why he has actually got to the outskirts of Tripoli. Let's not forget that Russia has Wagner groups on the ground, only a few kilometers outside the center of Tripoli. It's going to be very hard for the GNA forces defending Tripoli to accept that ceasefire and allow Wagner to be basically in the garden of their house.
And let's speak about how this possible ceasefire could be implemented. Just days ago, the coastal city of Sirte went to Khalifa Haftar. How strong is he? How defiant could he be towards the call for the ceasefire?
Indeed. Now, let's not forget that even though it is Haftar who is in the picture, the people who coordinated the attack on Sirte are the UAE and Egypt, and that's where Haftar gets his directions from. Haftar was never a competent militant officer. If you know that in the 80s, he was captured by Chad, and that's how he got to America, and that's why he came to be where he is at the moment. Now, the important thing is that Haftar himself, and I've said this many times before, is that he is incapable of not seeing himself as the leader of Libya. He has said it many times before. He thinks he needs to be the dictator. Telling him to stop and pull back is going to be very difficult for him. We do need the weight of countries which have military threat, let's say. So, for example, people have been going on about Turkey signing the agreement with Tripoli. The fact that Turkey has troops ready to enter Libya, or indeed has sent some troops already, gives more weight to their call for a ceasefire.
And speaking about Turkey, well, how much of an influence, a game changer, could it be now?
They've been very influential. Since Turkey signed the agreement with the Libyan government, the news has come round to the whole world. I mean, this war has been going on for years. The Tripoli attack started in April. It wasn't taken much notice of until the GNA called for help from the Turkish government to repel Haftar's forces, including the Russian mercenaries on the outskirts of Tripoli. And that's where suddenly all the European countries have started moving, sending ministers right, left and center. So I think Turkey's intervention is actually a good thing for the people of Libya. Finally, something may be done about Haftar and the war that is going on.
We'll keep an eye on that. Let's see what happens. Ahmed Sewehli, Libya analyst, thanks so much for coming in and explaining that all to us. Thank you.